JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, BuyAToyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. The original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back into the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV. And now this season also on TV on 47 ABC WMDT as we expand our reach across the peninsula. On the radio, Delmarva's Rock Radio and the strongest signal Ravens affiliate on the peninsula, 93.5 The Beach. Couple of notes, we're not going to have a show next week. That will be our bye week, as I think we all could use a rest, as Papo's saying. A couple of us are looking pale, and then a couple of us have clearly been on the golf course quite a bit. So some of us have to work, and some of us apparently aren't. So I think we know who that is up here.
Where are we going next week?
Wherever you take me, big boy.
Couple of reminders for you. We are on TV on Comcast Beach TV at a lot of different times, Thursday through Sunday. So we're all over the place. So you're never going to not catch us at some point. Also 47 ABC Saturday night, 7:30 before the college game of the week, and Sundays at noon. On the radio Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock. We want to see all Ravens fans across the peninsula down. We've got Ravens tickets giveaways, Bud Light prize packages, and hotel giveaways as well. In fact, we've got a ticket giveaway tonight. The next ticket giveaway that is coming up November 19th, and that giveaway will be for the 30th game. That's going to be a big one as the Chargers come to town. An excellent team this year with Phillip Rivers, who hasn't won in Maryland in his entire career, college and pro. So we'll see if we can keep that streak going. Mike Bradley, Bobby Vermillion, Bruce Laird on the set as we discussed the Ravens' 43-23 loss to the Steelers. And guys, as we were talking quite a bit about the secondary and the breakdowns that they had. Look, let's be honest. Jimmy Smith is out. Lardarius Webb is still not 100%. You had Dominic Franks making, I believe, his 6th career start. You've got Shockey Brown, who has no place being on the field, and, well, we'll talk about it. He won't be on the field for the Ravens anytime soon, if at all in the future. We'll talk about that coming up. You just simply have guys that are filling gaps there, Bruce, that they're just not good enough. I mean, that's what happens. There's only so many guys that are talented in the secondary.
And again, I mean, how do you mask that? Well, you can play a lot of zone, or you can play a lot of double zone. If you have weak corners, you can play your corners up because it's only their first 15 to 18 yards. They can jam the receivers, but our guys don't even jam receivers anymore. So you can play that. But what if you play that and you have the situation over the top in the middle of the field? We've all watched the Baltimore Ravens play with the linebackers and the safety people in the middle of the field. 3rd and 20, they completed. 3rd and 18, they completed. 3rd and 25, they completed. So this is the problem with coaching. You can try and play that and protect your corners, but then you're going to need really good play out of your safeties and your linebackers. They got to get deep. And pass coverage, it's not happening. Or we go back to what we talk about and just dog them. Just send 6 people and hope and pray that the quarterback, like a Ben Roethlisberger, Ben is off the spot or not running, and you can tackle him. Now, that man is a sequoia tree. I mean, believe me, if you don't have a 48-inch chainsaw, okay, even if you hit him, no matter who you are, he's probably not going to go down. So that's how they rolled the dice. It didn't work out. And Dean Pease and his entire staff, Steve Pagano, that coaches the secondary, they're trying to mix and match what they have and trying to find a formula that will give them an opportunity to win. And I think their best opportunity to win defensively, guys, is for us to score a lot of points.
Have to.
Joe has got to take control of this football team. You got to eat up 32 to 33 minutes of clock, and you got to score 28 or more.
I disagree with that, Bobby.
Well, I would say this too. I think they sent a message, obviously, to the secondary. Chalky Brown is now gone, and so is
Dominic Frank.
So you got the two guys. But what I found interesting, I actually went back and looked at the game before I came in tonight. Ladarius Webb had an awful game. He could not even get close to Antonio Brown. He
Gave
was
up
used.
150.
And you know, when you got a guy, when Jimmy Smith goes down, you talked about it earlier, Bruce, you have to have your big players step up in big games. With the absence of Jimmy Smith, Ladarius Webb is the guy, and we paid him a lot of money. And he had a bad game. So let's just say that. He's back. He's not probably 100%. He certainly hadn't been on the field that much this year. So we'll give him a little bit of a break, and we still have 7 games left in the season. But he did not have a good game. And then you take a look at, as you mentioned, some of the other guys. You know, Elam hasn't played well. Brooks, I think, was inactive.
Brooks
this week,
was a healthy inactive.
I was
scratch,
shocked that he was inactive. And, you know, and Roethlisberger, like you said, just picked him apart. But they definitely sent a message, you know, with losing Franks and Brown. And we'll see if the new guys can step up and make a difference.
Well, and Bruce, I thought you pointed out in the last segment, when Dean Pease does send 4 and drop 7 into coverage, they ought to. They're paying good money to Suggs of Doomerville. They ought to be getting a more consistent pass rush. We had 3 straight sacks. Hey, that's great. But then it disappeared after that. And
Second
in big
half,
games,
there was no pass rush.
Nothing. And again,
and those aren't the best tackles for the Steelers. I mean,
no,
the line
and
is
look
better.
At Haley. Haley
yeah.
decides to sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to put a big body in there. I'm going to put a tight in there. The guy that caught the last, I can't remember.
Spaeth.
Yeah. He puts him in here. They do some blocking, and they max up a little bit. And why can you max up? You can max up a little bit when you have 3 wideouts that can smoke it downfield.
That's
and
a great
they're,
point.
and they're giving their quality players, their playmaker players, the opportunity to make plays. And they went out and did that. And that's the essence. I looked at our stats coming into this, Bobby and Mike, you'll see. We have 2 wide receivers on this football team, the Baltimore Ravens. And both of them have one's caught in the 40s, but the other guy is caught over 25 passes. In this day and age, how can you have 2 wideouts? One guy 25 passes, one guy in the 40s. That's it. You have issues when you can't get the ball wide out to wide outs and deep. You must be vertical in this league today. You know it. I know it. It's a crapshoot. If it's press coverage, you throw the ball deep. What do you think? It's either 50-50. The flag or incomplete or completion.
Well, Torrey
think about it.
Torrey Smith has done a good job of drawing flags, but he certainly hasn't been involved in the offensive enough. I think we can all agree with that. And then Steve Smith has disappeared in the last 2 games. And, Bruce, you talked about it.
There's your 2 wideouts.
There's your 2 guys, and they're your big playmakers on offense. And Joe Flacco hasn't played well really the last 2 games either. So when that happens, and the other guys that you mentioned too don't step up, the B players don't step up and play a little bit better, you're certainly in trouble. I think C.J. Mosley may have had his worst game as a pro, but give credit to Ben Roethlisberger. When the Ravens did bring pressure, and he went to the hot read, which was Le'Veon Bell, and Mosley could not cover Bell, and that was a big factor in the game as well. He was a big factor in the passing game on those little dump downs, Mike.
Yeah, 5 catches for 38 yards, and his longest throw for 12. But, you know, we pointed out Le'Veon Bell was a guy I thought that the Ravens had to stop. Because let's take a look at the wide receivers. We all know about Antonio Brown, and he had an excellent game coming off the Colts game where he had an excellent game. But Marcus Wheaton and Martavius Bryant, I mean, Wheaton has yet to come, well, up until 2 weeks ago, Colts and then Ravens, he hadn't come on. He had been a disappointment. I think he had been a second-round pick at Oregon State, disappointment. And then Bryant was inactive the first couple of weeks of the season for the Steelers. He has a lot of talent. Bucksy told us last week they eventually said he's got too much talent. We got to activate him. And all of a sudden he burst free. But we're not talking about grizzled veterans that did damage against our secondary.
No.
That's a scary thing last week.
That's a big point.
Yeah.
You're talking about players getting that opportunity.
Young guys. Yeah.
Young guys getting the opportunity, being put in there. And you must understand this. As professionals, this is done on a Wednesday. That receiver coach is taking these guys out of their meetings and getting to them and saying, listen, we're giving you this opportunity. We need you to understand that this is what you must do while we move through this transition. We're going to give you the opportunity. You got to come in and play. And then you take it. You see what I mean? You take it. It's a big game. You relish in it, and you take your opportunity and make it happen when the ball comes to you. Ravens weren't able to do that, and that upset me about this football team. This game upset me more than the Cincinnati game because they had that chance to say, okay, we let one slip away, as Bobby said. Now, spotlight, Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh. They're honoring Mean Joe Green. You know what it's all about. Seriously, you know as a player what it's all about. You got to relish that. You got to take that and run with it. And when you don't, it bothers me.
One thing I'd like to bring up is the lack of leadership too, and we talked about this a little bit last year, but I think it's a glaring thing this year. You look on that team on both sides of the ball. You got Steve Smith, who, if you talk to Ravens fans, been with the team 1 year. He's probably your leader on offense. I mean, Joe Flacco's not really the leader. He's a quiet leader, yes, but he's not that guy.
Right.
And on the other side of the ball, with the absence of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, it really comes down to Suggs. Is he really the leader? I don't know the dynamics of the locker room, but it just seems like there's nobody on that team right now that they look to as the guy that can lead the team.
Bob, you're so right. And how do you look at a class clown? I mean, you get there every once in a while, but then all of a sudden you're going through this, and on a Thursday after practice or whenever. I've never believed in this Sunday stuff when players would do that. I'd tune it out. I'd go in the restroom. We had players in my entire generation that started that like 2 hours before Sunday. I go, dudes, if you're not ready now, whatever they're going to give you isn't going to help you.
Yeah, you mean the rah-rah type.
When it comes to speeches and stuff, I mean, I just go, shut the hell up.
But there are key times during a game, and
that part is right, and some other things that bring it in there, and that's part of it. And you're going to have to look at that. And Suggs' role has been a little bit different, and it's hard for the rest of the football team to garner up and go when a guy steps up in front of you and get it.
You don't need the rah-rah, but I think
No.
you pointed it out that encapsulates everything to highlight the moment and to highlight what's in front of you, what the atmosphere is going to be like, what's out there in front of you to play spoiler. It's going to be a big-time atmosphere, but big-time players step up and play big, and you relish these opportunities. They don't come often. So, I mean, Bruce, you made a great point, and then, Bobby, you followed it up. I agree there. And Mike Preston said as much in his Q&A online in the Baltimore Sun this week that, yeah, there's not that leader to take charge in. And even if Suggs wants to be that leader, he's been enough of the jokester over the years. I'm not sure now he can take that next step up and be that leader. We're only about 30 seconds. But, yeah, that's an issue. Yeah.
No, and I really believe that, and I think that transcends the coaching staff. I mean, you can listen to your head coaches and your guys all you want, but at the end of the day, you're taking everything you worked all 6 days with and bringing it to fruition and going to your teammates and everybody else. This is our game. This is our game. Forget the crowd. This is our game. This is when we got to play big, and you got to look to your teammate and demand it out of them.
Yep. A lot more to come as we continue to recap the 43-23 loss to the Steelers. It is the Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV, ABC 47 at 93.5 The Beach. We're back next. Keep it here.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.